as an organization. So, primarily because the organization itself is, working on the cutting-edge technology and be able to provide cutting-edge technology solutions to our clients. The job of the talent development professionals, obviously, is to prepare the talent. And in our organization, we have nothing else other than people. Right? So when it is not, for us, it's not a cliche when we say that the people are our only assets. It really is, because all that we have is people. So we got to basically prepare them and prepare them at a very fast pace that is required. So that's basically the challenge that right now we are facing. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have the other challenges, right? I mean, I'm sure as learning and development professionals, all of us have had our fair share of challenges, right? Including basically from getting folks to the classrooms, right? It's the basic minimum of making sure that they are interested and they participate, and then of course comes the bigger question of what is the ROI, the return on investment, and and things like that. I come from business. I'm not a traditional HR person. When I came into HR and into talent development, and when I started getting people into into my function, typically when you interview people to get in, you ask questions, right? Okay, one of the most common question is, why do you want to get into this function? And do you know what the most common answer is? When a talent professional asks somebody who wants to get into a talent function, what would be the most common answer when you ask them, why do you want to get into this function? Any guesses?
People.
Yeah, we love people, isn't it? That is generally the answer that we get. So I actually thought about it and thought, look, if a CFO is interviewing a person, and if the person says, look, I love money and that's why I want to get into finance, the CFO will say, thank you very much. Similarly, a technology person, a CTO, if a CTO is interviewing a person and the CTO says, okay, why do you want to get into this thing? And if the person just says, look, I love technology, that might not necessarily get him into the job, right? Because for a financial person, the best answer probably could be, I know how to use money for the organization's benefit, right? Or for the shareholders' return and stuff like that. And for the technology person, it might be, I know how to use technology so that this organization can give better products or better services and faster services and make profit and all that stuff, right? By extension, talent development professionals should be saying, I know how to use people for organizations' benefit, right? Now, that makes us uncomfortable, right? The word, look, how to use people, So I actually have been wondering, why is HR or talent management or talent development always, we have this struggle of proving ourselves to be a strategic function, because that was one of the challenges that was, there as talent development professionals, whether we have a seat at the table, whether we are a strategic function, whether we are linked to the company's strategies and things like that. And that's when, this came to me saying that, look, we are dealing with people. We're dealing with people who have emotions, people who have, minds and brains, and it's not just like money or technology, and that's what makes it all the more difficult for talent development professionals. What I wanted to basically highlight is the fact that we have, as talent development professionals, we have had our fair share of challenges, right? The challenges of engagement, learning penetrations, the ROI, what is the business impact that can come with the relevance of the training or learning activities or the talent that we get into and all that stuff. So we have had all those challenges. And on top of that, now it comes the new challenge of the digitization, right? The world is getting digital. Driverless cars are a reality. It's running right in many places. The concept of singularity is no more a theoretical concept. right? It is there. Bots might replace human beings sooner than later than we expect, and artificial intelligence is doing a lot of things that currently human beings were doing and stuff like that. So there is this threat of digitization looming on organizations, and the question again becomes, how do we prepare our talent for that? So what I'm going to share with you is, we have not succeeded in all of them. All that I'm saying is, for us, it is a necessity, because if we don't do it, we will need to close shop, right? Very simple. Because if our people are not up to the technologies, and if the digital culture does not get in, we are done. We would probably be going, and I will probably be looking for another job or whatever, right? So for us, it's a reality. We got to make sure that the people are ready. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that we are trying to do. Many of them are still in the making. So don't hold me accountable to say, okay, where are the results of all of them? Some of them, yes, we do have results, but many of them we are trying, and we are learning as we go, and many places we have fallen flat on the face, right, while trying to do this. But hey, what the heck? Unless we try, we don't know whether we succeed or not, right? So the good news is I still keep my job, so it means something is working. So I guess the organization is happy with what's happening here. So I'm going to share some of the things. Some of them are ideas, some of them are things that we have successfully implemented, and I will give you some of the examples, and then maybe see if you have specific questions and things like that. Our studies basically show that there are three things that we need to look at when we look at creating a digital culture or a talent for the digital organization. Three areas: engagement, capability, and the organization itself. And on this, basically, when you look at all the three, there are different sets of challenges that one needs to address when it comes to preparing the organization. On the engagement side, basically, the talent is becoming diverse, right? Whether it is from the age group, whether it is in the thinking preferences, whether it is their cultural preferences, whether it is their dressing styles for that matter. Everything is changing, right? Everything is changing, and the organization is, and people are, they have so much resources to learn, so they become born to learn when they come in itself, and they have multiple places that they learn, and they are well connected. You run a training program, and before the trainer says something, people can Google and find out and probably challenge the trainer, right, about what is happening or what is not happening and things like that. So those are the types of challenges that we have from the engagement point of view. And the capabilities, what are the capabilities that we need? How basically innovation. How do we think differently? How do we innovate? How do we do things differently? How do we look at things outside the box? And being able to narrate things in an appropriate way, and of course, being able to work in a digitized environment using digitized tools and things like that. From the organization point itself, we find there are 5 factors that drive this change. That is, organizations are obviously becoming more agile, right? Quick decisions, corridor meetings. The decisions are not necessarily taken in the conference rooms anymore. Sometimes it is taken in the break rooms or in the corridors of the office or in coffee shops or whatever it is. Teams are becoming project-based. No more the hierarchical organization structure that works, right? Whichever team gets the most attention of the CEO sits near the CEO's cabin and works together and move on and things like that. Flat, global, and entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial mindset is becoming an in thing, right? With this thing. So this is where basically the organizational challenges are. So basically, what we thought is to address this. Gamma is nothing but our learning and development function. So we came up with what we call this as the 4-to-4 strategy, right? So basically 4 areas that we need to work on, starting with the expected outcome, and then to bring that expected outcome, 3 enablers like enablement, experience, and engagement, right? So that's basically what we were looking at. From the outcome point of view, of course, things remain the same. I don't think it changes much. We got to obviously ensure that the clients are successful. We got to make sure that the business growth is enabled. And the new thing is to make sure that the digital culture is imbibed and then we have an engaged and diverse workforce, right? Now, to get that outcome, we have to basically make sure that I think one of the key things nowadays learners are looking for is the experience, right? Uber, for example, has changed the way we experience travel, right? Or Airbnb has changed the way we experience, booking for stays and stuff like that. So there are, and these are primarily, what do? They basically look at what are the pain points in a process, right? And then try and avoid those pain points and give the users a better experience. So I think this is really becoming a king, even in learning and development. So I think what we realized is that, look, we can't escape this fact that we got to give a world-class user experience or learner experience, and that is how, that's basically one of the key things that we need to, look at. And then, of course, we got to basically make sure that the content is there. That is where the enablement comes in. So we have split ourselves into centers of excellence and, and then aimed at more providing the thought leadership through a digital learning platform and also providing, a learning partner ecosystems. And of course, how do we keep them engaged, right? How do we engage as learning professionals with business, and how do we keep the learners themselves engaged? And and then those are the 4 aspects to this strategy that we came up with, calling what we call ourselves the 4. Now, based on this, we came up with 6 focus areas. I mean, no surprise, the first one is the user experience. How do we provide a great experience for the learners so that they are drawn to the learning activities, they are drawn to these developmental activities, and we don't need to necessarily, go around with a search and arrest warrant to bring the people to the classrooms or learning activities or learning platforms and stuff like that. The second one is the content, and obviously it needs to be cutting edge, it needs to be relevant, it needs to be interesting, and all that stuff. And the third is the diversity piece, where I think when organizations are becoming entrepreneurial or enterprise-level organizations, this becomes a key aspect, right? And then obviously we can't do everything ourselves, right? So we got to make sure that we build a good partner ecosystem around us, so who can provide, whether it is the content or whether it is the access or whatever it is. And then primarily, how do we continue to infuse talent into the talent? The 6 areas that we are focusing on. I'm not going to speak on all of them, but I'll give a few examples of some of these, what we are doing in some of these areas, and then leave it up to you for your questions or things like that. So, of course, all of them need to be built upon a world-class infrastructure, both physical as well as virtual, right? So that is also necessary. One of the decisions that I took probably about a year back is to do away with what we know as the traditional LMS, right? We know that there's no offense meant to any LMS supplier who is here, but we decided that it is actually becoming restrictive or constraining what we needed to do. So I took the call, actually, to the dismay of my leaders, to say that, look, we are doing away with an LMS for ourselves. And we decided that instead of that, we will go in for something like a marketplace and build a marketplace inside. And that is what we, because today the learning is not just available from what is organizationally provided sources, right? People learn through TEDx, or people learn through YouTube to do things, or even people learn some of the some of the people just learn cooking just by YouTube and survive without, without divorces and stuff like that, right? So there is learning outside available there. MOOCs have become a phenomenon out there, right? And then people go, and the concept of self-directed learning is so much so much attractive that people go and learn those things. So my question was, look, why do I need to restrict my learners, into what I provide as through an LMS? So instead of that, that's where we came up with this, where we buy content from various people, and then we just provide an aggregated platform where my employees will go and then they should be able to search across. I mean, now the challenge of too much learning activity available there is that there is too much, right? That is a problem. Because when you go and search for something, if it throws out 10,000 results, the person is literally hit with a ton of bricks, right? And he or she is left wondering, what did I do? What did I do wrong? So the key thing here, what we wanted to do was to provide curated content across the huge repertoire of learning resources available outside, so that the person gets what is relevant, maybe 15 to 20 relevant results rather than 10,000 not so relevant results, right? So, and then so obviously for doing that, we have to build an artificial intelligence engine into the system, so that the curation becomes intelligent, right? So that's basically what we are working on. This is still in the making. We have a sort of a beta version running right now, and we are building in more features as we speak, right? So this is one of the things that we sort of a bold decision that we took, and we are trying it out right now. And from the first results, I should say it is quite encouraging. People are liking it, and I'm continuously going to add more sources of learning into this, right? The other user experience example that I have is on simulation, right? Now, project management, for example, it could be the most boring topic that one can teach, right? And especially to a generation who is keen on Pokemon Go rather than learning through Excel sheets and other stuff. So we actually went, we hired a consultant who had worked with NASA, and with working with us, he developed this a simulation tool which was very intuitive, very gamified version of it, which the folks loved it when we rolled it out in the training session. Now, how do I know they loved it? Is because after the training session, they actually came and asked us, look, now this is an excellent tool. We loved it during those days of the training, but why don't you now give it to us for use in real-time live projects when I have to make decisions, rather than keeping it as a training tool? I mean, to me as a learning professional, that was a very satisfying experience when somebody comes and tells me, look, something that you use exclusively for training, I would like to use it for real-time decision-making in live projects, where the risk factor is much higher and stuff like that. So, so that actually gave us a lot of, encouragement to know that yes, we are in the right direction when it comes to this. So actually, right now we are in the process of rolling that tool out, where people can use it as a tool where they can take decisions based on those simulated stuff that they can run. And again, the reason why I highlight it is because it was introduced as purely a training tool, and then it became a decision-making tool in real projects and things like that. Mentoring, for example, digitized mentoring tool. It is not just a matter of using a digital tool for mentoring. It is also about building in, and bringing up the relevant topics for the mentees, so that they can benefit from the knowledge that comes out from that, right? So this is a tool that we are trying out right now, so where we are introducing digitization into the whole mentoring process itself. Again, here, apart from the collaboration that it provides between the mentor and the mentee. It also provides, curated information that comes to the mentee based on the skills or competencies that has been identified for his or her development. So that way it helps, and of course it is obviously mobile enabled. So the person gets it wherever he or she is. She doesn't need to be tied down to a laptop or to a conference room to get that experience. From a content point of view, of course, we decided to go and get from one of the some of the best ones in the world. We tied up with LinkedIn Learning to use the lynda.com. And by the way, we are one of the first enterprise level organizations to sign up with LinkedIn Learning. I think LinkedIn Learning is available as a retail product mostly. We are one of the first enterprise level folks who signed it up and are introducing this for this thing. On, for example, Workplace by Facebook, we have tried, I'm sure many of you would have collaboration tools, Yammer and whatever. Many of us try different things to introduce social learning, and it didn't work for us. I don't know if it worked for any of you. It didn't work for us, right? And we knew that people were quite keen on Facebook, right? And so we decided if we can't beat them, join them, right? And so we went ahead, and we were actually one of the first people to sign up with Facebook when they introduced that product. When they introduced it, it was called Facebook at Work. So primarily, it is a same user experience, same type of features, but with the security that is required to build within this thing. And so we changed the internal collaboration from our internal collaboration tools into Facebook at Work, and the usage just shot up just by the name that there is Facebook. So people are, till then, our IT department were telling folks, look, you can't access Facebook at work. In the office time, you can't access Facebook. It kills bandwidth, and it kills time and productivity. Now we are saying, hey, you go use Facebook at work. So obviously, the usage shot up. And now we can actually see a lot of useful content being posted by folks in the Facebook at Work, and the collaborative or social learning piece is going up. Again, we were one of the first ones to sign up with Facebook, to have this rolled out for the organization. Similarly with LinkedIn Learning, and then of course some of the, for example, Cadence. This is an organization who has nothing to do with digital or technology. We are a technology organization. Actually, their sources are about creative arts and paintings and other stuff. But when we looked at what they can do, we went ahead and talked to them and said, look, why don't we use those concepts to teach folks design thinking, or artificial intelligence, or machine learning, or deep learning, and things like that. And they were quite excited to partner with us to do that. So we bring in the whole human creativity art form of that into teaching technology and digitization for our employees. So that's the type of partnerships that we went into. Of course, chosen few. Right? So, primarily, again, keeping in mind that, it needs to be cutting edge. It needs to provide users with a great experience and things like that. On the talent infusion front, primarily, we changed our method. We are actually working on. I can't say that we have changed all of them. Again, we do a lot of fresher hiring. That means from the campuses, direct from the campuses. So we go to the campuses, hire them about 9 months before they even graduate. So that's the typical, war for talent that is there in India. And so we go there, hire them, and so we are now revamping the way we hire them and how do we train them after hiring. And actually, we are also working on another model where we are looking at them taking the responsibility of training and being industry ready, rather than we training them after we bring them into the organization. So that's the other thing that we are looking at. You know, on the diversity piece, we are basically a IT services organization, and typically, most of our clients are in the US. So when we have a requirement in the US, our effort is to bring people from India and place them in the US. And that obviously doesn't do good for our diversity, right? And so the team become primarily, Indians, so we wanted to do. So we were thinking about what could we do differently, because if we hire actual, real local talent, it is going to be very expensive. It is going to blow our bottom line, right? So we can't have that. We again close shop because we have competitors. We have bigger competitors, right? So what we thought is, why not look at a different way of doing this? And we hit upon this idea where we conceived a program where we went to, we went to inner cities, not the major cities, inner cities in the US, and we focused on minority women candidates. So we came up with a program called the Step It Up America, where primarily it was aimed at inner city minority women who are not college graduates, who would have been basically community school graduates and things like that, and put them through a boot camp to provide them with, and make them into technologists, right? And this program, once it was rolled out, was such a hit with the media, such a hit with everyone, that no one less than Joe Biden, who was then the Vice President of United States, came to our class. He heard about it. The White House heard about it, and they came to our class to see what's happening and how is it going and things like that. Of course, that gave us a lot of publicity. But beyond publicity, just because of this program, we were able to sign up as many as 66 new clients in the US. Right? Now, think about this. Basically, it was conceived as a talent development program, so that the talent and diversity piece can be built in. But what do we get in return is a huge signing up of 66 new clients. I mean, who wouldn't love a CLO who could do this, right? So that's the level of business impact that we were really looking at, and we were glad to see that we were able to get there. So. So that's some of the stuff that we have done. And then, of course, now we are looking at how do we build the digital culture, how do we make sure that people think digitally, use digital technologies, and create new ideas and all that stuff using the design thinking concept, overall design thinking concept. So we are doing various things on it, and trying to have experts come and talk to them and stuff like that. And that has, of course, enabled us to sort of, cover a whole lot of learning landscape, and have digitization in most of these areas. As you can see, obviously covering from individual contributors all the way to the executives and leaders. So now, am I successful in doing all this? Obviously not. There are still, as probably you would know, we get three categories of executives, isn't it? Some of them who are cheerleaders, who would actually encourage anything that you do, who believe that there is intrinsic value in learning. And then there are those neutral types who would say, okay, as long as you don't bother me, it's okay. Go ahead and do what you want to do. And then there is a third category of executives who would think that talent development is an absolute waste of money, right, and time, correct? You would get this in any organization. I worked in organizations like IBM before, and it's not different. So you would get them in any organization. And I think as talent development professionals, our challenge is to see how we can keep all these three happy, right? And that's what we are continuously trying to do. And we hope we are successful because we are getting a lot of external acceptances of what we are doing. And that's how we are here today to talk to you as part of something that we do. So that's my story. That's what we are trying to do. Again, some of them are still half-baked, and I hope that it will succeed. And some of the things that we have shown, for the project management training that I showed you, just within the 1 year, it has given us tangible, almost $12 million in new business and a 4-point increase in revenue. The talent infusion, the new hire program that I spoke about, it has given us almost a 30% reduction in overall training costs for new employees, right? And a huge increase in the engagement of new employees when they come in and stuff like that. So there's been significant business impact that has happened because of these programs. So I want to leave you with that, and if there is time, we can look at some questions. Yeah.